and good evening, and welcome to
Chatroom.
And we'll see you every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Thai PBS World, where we'll be talking about the hottest stories in Thailand as well as social media dramas. I'm Nad Bunap.
I'm Frank Kanchi.
And maybe you have noticed that it's just two of us once again.
Again, lonely partner, but actually we have good connection together on the show, of course. But our screen partner, Deep and Dia, right now is not in Bangkok, right?
Yeah, they're in Chiang Rai at the moment. So I'm wondering what they're actually doing.
They are doing a secret project there, but not traveling, to be honest. Of course, it's not traveling.
They're not having fun over
Yeah.
there. They're just doing, spending time there, doing a special project, which will be broadcast on Thai PBS World really soon, definitely by this year. So we will have to wait and see what it looks like, and do stay tuned, because this project is going to be huge.
Yes, as we've done our part already. This month, and actually we did a lot of work. We traveled to other provinces, and of course it takes a lot of effort. So
yes,
we're
a lot of effort, and it's definitely very tiring as well, because a bit of a spoiler. It's a documentary series, but we're not going to tell you what it is yet.
Don't talk about the topic yet.
Yes, we cannot talk about the topic yet because it's supposed to be secret.
Yes, so we're gonna see very soon. So today, actually, from the beginning of tonight, is very important. Of course, we see the global tensions in Gaza Strip right now. So we begin tonight with the war between Israel and Hamas. The Israeli embassy in Thailand, they hosted an event last night in Sukhumvit to show unity with the support from Jewish and Christian communities. Other heads of mission, including the United States of America, United Kingdom, and European countries, are also reiterated their stances to lend support to Israel. More than 700 of Jewish and Christian in Thailand participated in the event to demand Hamas to release hostages back to Israel. Those hostages, including Thai citizens, are situated in unknown locations. Israeli ambassador to Thailand, Ms. Orna Sajif, reaffirmed that the Israeli government's priority is to save those hostages from Hamas' hands. Another mission is to take all these Hamas militants down. Let's watch what has to say to the public in the event.
And we wanted to respect the people that were slaughtered and murdered by Hamas terrorists. But we also wanted to call the world to remember the people that are hostages, the people that were kidnapped. We have those flowers, the red flowers, that we place, and we hope and pray for the safety of those hostages. So we are very moved, and personally I'm very moved to see so many friends, almost 700 people that came here tonight.
As more than 30,000 Thai workers live in Israel, only 8,000 most have registered to fly back to Thailand. The ambassador said the Israeli government has no intention to coercively make Thailand workers stay in the country. It is the Thai workers' freedom to decide where to stay. Israeli government also provides fast-track procedures for those who return to Thailand after the war ends.
Regarding the payday, I really want to stress, some countries, the payday of the salary is different. Even in Israel, you have several sectors that they have different paydays. It wasn't delayed. It is the regular payday for them. The only thing is that before they left Israel to Thailand, they wanted to get paid.
Hundreds of Palestinians and Muslims in Thailand also protested in front of the embassy of Israel almost a week ago. Ms. Sajif said that it is their right to protest, but she feels sorry for them. The ambassador reaffirmed the difference between Hamas and Palestinians.
People that come to protest after such a brutal murder and after such brutal attacks and really slaughter that was done into Israeli citizens, I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them. You can support Palestinians, you can support Muslims, but if you support Hamas, you have to understand that you support ISIS.
So we've heard the Israeli ambassador's words here to support, of course, those hostages and, of course, to reaffirm the priority of Israeli government. But we have to give you balance here. Mr. Nobaki, the Iranian ambassador to Thailand, said that all Thai hostages were being safely kept in Palestinian territories, adding that they and other foreign hostages will be released when the Israeli military stops bombardment at the Gaza Strip. So Ned, of course, it's still very complex at this moment, and it's from the historical background, and until now, since 1947, of course, the resolution of UN. And of course, Thai PBS World, we talked to the Israeli ambassador already. So we know the stance from Israeli government. We also know the stance from Muslim world. So it takes a lot of time to deal with.
Right, and talking about the Thai workers in Israel, for those who managed to evacuate from Israel back to Thailand, this is also another complex situation here because many of them still have this feeling that they still have to go back to Israel or else they will not be able to make ends meet for their families. And most of them come from rural areas, come from poor families, and if they don't work in that particular country, there's no way that they could send back the money to feed their family. So this is definitely a very complicated situation. And at the same time, some people who came back already said that they're not going to go back to Israel anymore because the situation is way too dangerous for them to risk their lives.
Financial burden there, as what you said, they cannot make ends meet. So some people, of course, they have to stay in Israel to make a lot of income for their family. They couldn't have any choice. They only could choose to stay in Israel at this moment.
And when we listen to all the stories about the Thai workers who actually came back, and at the same time, the Thai workers who died in the war as well, we hear a lot of distressing stories. And it actually shows that the inequality in Thailand has pushed them to work overseas in very hazardous situations in order to make ends meet and to earn the income to feed their families. Because we have to admit one thing, that the daily minimum wage over there is much higher than in Thailand. So some people would have to go there or else they will not be able to live comfortable lives. And it's really sad to hear these stories where people were killed during this war and the families were very depressed, very sad, and very devastated, knowing that the breadwinners of their families have died there.
And geographically, they are far apart.
Yes.
Their family are in Middle East, but host countries in Thailand. So it's just so dire a situation.
Exactly, but hopefully the other Thais will manage to come back to Thailand with safety. But for those who are still being held hostage, we hope that they will be released sometime soon as well.
Yes, as what you said, actually it reflects the inequality in Thailand. Of course, Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin called those working in Israel to come back soon. Please come back really soon. But as what you said, the daily wage there is much higher than the daily wage in Thailand. So they have no choice.
So now it's up to the labor ministry what they're going to do to help the Thai workers in Israel, even whether they're still there or they have decided to come back to Thailand. Now let's move on to something a lot more lighter. What socks you're wearing at the moment?
Right now it's black one. People can see that. Cannot. Okay, sorry, I cannot.
Okay, but anyway, when we talk about socks, the most common colors that we often wear is either white or black. Or like navy, all like the safe colors and
like
the
dark color.
Yeah, the dark colors or just white. These are the very basic colors of socks. But for some people, they like to make a fashion statement by wearing colorful socks. And that includes Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin, who has done it to another new level by wearing bright colored socks during high-level meetings with world leaders. So the Thai leader became the center of attention in the media after he appeared in bubblegum pink socks and tie in Beijing last Wednesday when he met with Chinese President Xi Jinping and also with Russian President Vladimir Putin. On Saturday, he changed into bright red socks for an audience with his Saudi Arabian counterpart, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Riyadh. And this is actually not the first time that the Thai Prime Minister has worn colorful socks and ties while attending official functions. And what you're seeing right here, he's wearing pink socks during his meeting with Putin very recently. But that was not the first time that he wore very colorful socks during official meetings, because back in September, Seta wore matching red socks and a tie to attend the 78th UN General Assembly in New York. A week earlier, he had even chaired his first cabinet meeting at Government House in hot pink socks. In fact, his choice of clothing in meetings with world leaders has earned a wave of criticism in Thailand, with critics saying that he needs to adopt a more appropriate tone on the global stage. But how is this not appropriate? This is actually appropriate tone for the global stage. Okay, it's just the tie, which is actually completely fine, but people are just overly focused on his socks. But speaking of that, there is one fun fact about Seta Thavisin with his socks. He once said that he has socks in many colors, such as dark blue, light blue, green, yellow, and orange. But the color that he wears the most often is red socks, because red is his favorite color. So the question is, what's the importance of sock diplomacy?
So I think outside of Thailand, not just socks, clothes, sometimes pin, sometimes tie, as what you said. This is a new playbook in politics. It's a way to show actually what the mood is. When we come into some events, for example, funeral, we have to wear black. Maybe to go to the wedding, we wear red in Taiwan. But for Prime Minister Seta Thavisin, I think maybe he doesn't have too much implication about the political side, but of course we can see other prime minister, including Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. Actually, he wears a lot of colorful socks, including, of course, when he went to join the one of the talk show in US. He also printed the host of the talk show on the socks.
Wow.
So the face of the talk show host on the socks. So when he joined the LGBT plus pride in Canada, he wore very colorful rainbow socks. So actually this is a way to show the supportive side of politician in each event.
So it also indicates some sort of political movement and social movement as well. Like, it's really interesting how he wore rainbow socks to show that he supports the LGBTQ community. And another iconic moment for Justin Trudeau was his purple socks with yellow ducks as well. And that was very iconic as well. And another moment that we might be able to recall was when he was wearing blue socks to channel with the Filipino leader during the APEC summit. And
they compare together.
Yeah, they compare the socks together.
Yeah.
He was wearing blue socks, if I remember, and he actually was channeling with the Filipino leader who was wearing blue socks as well. So that is sort of sock diplomacy, shows the political and social movement, but also some sort of connection with their counterparts as well.
That's what you said, because of course politics is mostly hard and very difficult, but when we have this kind of sock or soft diplomacy put it in, so it's very important. And I can have another example, of course, the Queen Elizabeth II, of course, when she met the American, of course, US former President Donald Trump. She wore the pin as in, of course, the flower pin, but actually the flower pin was, of course, given by Canada. It means that, of course, Canada and US at the time they were not in a good relationship. So that's why, as what you said, it's the political sign too.
And back to Thailand. Seta's red socks can be some sort of political movement as well, because Pheu Thai Party is red. But then if you look on the other side, if we put politics aside, it's also because Seta Tawisin is a big fan of Liverpool. Liverpool is red as well. So that is probably to show his preference, what is his favorite football team, all these things. I think there's always like a reason behind it that doesn't necessarily have to be about politics.
Yes, yes. It's about their favor, and of course they can put it on their clothes. It's their freedom.
Exactly.
Next news, I think, of course, is another trend. Some media, Thai media, say that Pita is coming back because right now, of course, he's in New York to attend the Time 100 gala, and of course, he will go to his University of Harvard, to give speech. If you think Pita Limjaroenrat has disappeared, maybe you might be wrong, because right now he's back to take the social media spotlight once again after stepping down as Move For Party leader last month. Pita Limjaroenrat, former Move For Party leader, has appeared in New York to attend a gala dinner as a leader defining the next generation of leadership on the Time 100 Next list for 2023. He posted a series of photos of his time in New York on his Instagram account, which received hundreds of likes and comments. The photos show him riding the New York subway, walking along a New York street, sipping a drink at a roadside restaurant, and standing in Times Square. Almost every media outlet in Thailand reported on his visit in the photos, with some carrying the headlines, "Pita is back," and Pita returns to take back his fame. So the question is, why is Pita being so idolized?
That's pretty interesting because whenever he posts something on social media, he would attract hundreds of likes and comments supporting him. But since the general elections, Pita has been representing the new generation, and aside from the political ideologies, he seems to be like an idol for the younger generation, because apart from his political ideologies, he can do pretty much anything. He can sing, he can play guitar, and he seems to be like a fashion icon sometimes as well. Remember during the Pride Parade, he came with a rainbow-themed shirt. So people were like, oh, Pita is like an idol for the new generation. So it's really interesting though, because and Pita is actually one of the younger politicians, unlike the familiar faces. They're more of the baby boomers or the silent generation already. So when Pita came out, it's more like a fresh perspective.
It's kind of like a fresh voice, fresh trend in politics. Of course, as what I said at the beginning, politics is sometimes very hard to understand. But when Pita get in, he used very easy understanding language for his supporters, and he has a lot of supporters, orange supporters, of course, million, because they get a lot of votes in election. But this is one of the tactics, of course, to attract all the young generation. And it's not just young generation. I think middle-aged, older generation, they also use TikTok, Facebook, all the social media to communicate, personally communicate with Pita, because as what you said, those photo, videos, are well designed. I will use this word, of course. As what you see, of course, in New York, he was very trendy, fashion icon, fashionably iconic suit for people to understand that, oh, okay, I'm still in the game in the social media.
Yeah, because like when we go like on social media, especially when we travel overseas, of course we would like to post something that is really chic and trendy on our Instagram platforms. And knowing that Instagram is like a platform where we post like very cool photos up there, and Pita is in the game. So he knows his audience. So that's why, look at the photos right there. They come out like a photo shoot for a magazine. So that's why it looks really appealing for his supporters. But if we look on the other side of it, let's talk about General Prayut Chan-o-cha, who's the former Prime Minister of Thailand. He recently posted photos of himself and his wife enjoying their time in Japan, like you're seeing right there. This is something that we would never expect from Prayut during the past 9 years as the Prime Minister of Thailand. And he stated, along with these photos, that this was his first sightseeing trip abroad with his family in more than 10 years, and that he wants to share these personal photos with everyone. He also said that during the trip to Japan, he said he has met with many Thais who gave him friendly greetings, and he would like to thank them for their more support and good memories. But when we talk about the impact on social media, when Pita posted photos of himself, he gets support, so many likes and comments. But when Prayut posted something, people were like people on social media were like, what is he doing there?
But right now, of course, after his retirement, he can go whatever he wants to go, and of course, to enjoy the time with family at this point. And this is a very typical, I think, middle-age photo here. like my parents, they will take this kind of photo to remember where they go. But comparing to Pita, of course, the impact on social media is totally different. Of course, as was what you said, when Prayut was the prime minister, he wouldn't, of course, release this kind of photo to others. Of course. But Pita is totally different strategy here. Pita wants to maintain his stardom on social media. But as well, and it's not just Pita, I think it's all the MP in Move Forward Party. That's their strategy to make a idolized strategy. But we have to take a step back, as in, okay, you have the strategy, you have the power, you have the impact on social media, but how about in the field, in the parliament?
In the parliament.
So Move Forward Party, do you still have this kind of power in the parliament? Because that's the point.
Right, but speaking of Prayut, who has retired from politics, one thing that we have to mention, that he does deserve a break, because he has been working for more than 9 years as the prime minister, and more than that as the commander-in-chief of the army. So he does deserve a break, and if he wants to share his photos for his supporters, then let him do it. And this is actually normal, that they want to share their memories with his supporters, and that is normal anyway.
Yeah, and this is the first time since he became the prime minister to do an overseas trip. I think personal overseas trip for him. So, of course, have a good time in Japan, and maybe have a good observation in Japan, and to see what Thailand could improve in terms of infrastructure and everything.
Right, but what we can see is that both Pita and Prayut are having a good time in New York and in Japan. Anyway, we're still on the issue related to Instagram. Now let's talk about another viral video on Instagram, which suddenly became a buzz in Thailand because of this comment. So let's have a listen to what that video says first.
Okay, when I hit 200,000 followers, I'll do whatever the top comment says on this video and post it. Okay, when I hit 200,000 followers,
video we're talking about, but the whole point is the top liked comment on this video, which created a buzz in Thailand. And the Instagram user named Reed Harrington, who's reportedly a 7th grader from the US, posted the video on September 28th. And the top comment that gained the most likes says, "Fly to a small town in Thailand, get accepted by their people, learn the language, train in Muay Thai for a year and a half, fight in a tournament, win the tournament, return to the US and join the UFC, stay in shape and go undefeated in your weight class, retire and do an interview saying that this comment was the reason you fought so hard." And that particular comment got more than 2.7 million likes already. And the Instagram user has now over 335,000 followers at the moment. So we hope that Reed will eventually come to Thailand because of that top liked comment. And that is pretty interesting, because this comment it's just talking about Thailand, about how famous Muay Thai is, and that is worth trying. So the question is, why are Thais so excited about this comment?
Of course, they want to show the Thainess to everyone. And as what you said, hundreds of likes. And of course, I see someone under the comment say that I will pay for the ticket for you, Reed. So just come to Thailand.
Oh my God.
So of course, Reed, you're just a young child. Of course, you can have this claim on, on social media. And it's very interesting that the person challenged him on Muay Thai, because around the area where I stay, I actually sometime in the morning, I saw many foreigners. There's many Muay Thai training centers, so they just running around in the area to do warm up, and they go back to the center for the training. So Muay Thai is a very, very popular sport in foreign communities.
Very popular sport and very famous one as well. And when we think of Thailand in terms of sports, the first thing that comes into mind is Muay Thai, and that shows how it has made an impact towards foreign audience, and to a point where this Instagram user even commented that you should try Muay Thai for once. That is a huge impact for Thailand as well.
I personally haven't tried it before. Have you tried?
Muay Thai, not like serious Muay Thai, but more like the basics of boxing, and that's it.
Yeah.
Not as like a real sport in terms of whether you had to compete with your like opponent, not like that.
Yeah, because
it's more like for exercise.
Yeah, of course, for us normal people haven't got any training from Muay Thai, it would be quite dangerous for us to, of course, to do the training or compete. Of course, on the TV, the screen, you can see there are many Thai people getting trained for Muay Thai. I think it's a way to climbing up to another social status too, because of course I heard some stories, some of children, they are sent to do training of Muay Thai because they want to get better paid in the future, and they can become the person who, of course, take care of their family by this way.
And that's really interesting. But at the same time, when they enter the sports and become like an official boxer, then they not only just bring income for the families, but they bring pride for the country as well. Because if they get the chance to compete overseas, whether it's the Olympics, Asian Games, or whatever it is, World Championships, they're bringing that pride on the international stage as well. So that was why people were really interested in Muay Thai.
Yeah. Even for me, actually, before I came to Thailand, I understand Muay Thai is a very, very important sport for Thailand. And I understand there's a very big competition venue in Old Town, but I haven't really been there. So maybe one day I will go there to see.
Exactly. And we, apart from talking about Muay Thai, let's talk about uniforms this time.
Yes. In Thailand, there has been much debate on whether uniform should be scrapped or not, particularly with the case of Yok, a young activist who was charged with lèse-majesté, who demanded her right to study without wearing school uniforms. The good news is that Thammasat University has now allowed students to wear whatever they want to class as long as it doesn't distract others. According to Thammasat University's Student Council Rangsit campus, the rector of the university has signed an order which will allow students to have freedom in their choice of clothing when they attend classes, exams, or contacting the university, as long as their clothing does not distract others. The order also defines what is considered inappropriate clothing, which are outfits that will distract other people from focusing on their studies, their exams, or when contacting the university, and outfits that would obstruct lecturers or staff members from performing their duties, such as clothes that prevent students from being identified or from fraud investigation. So the question is, why are school uniforms, still a debate for Thai?
It has been a debate for quite some time already, because some people thought that school uniforms limits the freedom for many people, because like when we have a uniform, it restricts you from expressing who you really are. Like some people feel that they are young, they're supposed to have freedom of expression, and that uniform stops them from doing that. And these are those who do not support the idea of having uniforms. So there has been a study before from NIDA poll, which was previously conducted when there was a case about Yok who tried to climb over the gate to demand her right to study. There was a survey asking whether they think it's still necessary to have school uniforms. Most of the respondents say that it is still necessary. However, it is still acceptable to have 1 or 2 days of non-uniform days a week so that it gives them more flexibility.
It is a slow transition, I think, because in Thailand, when I was in high school, it was the time in Taiwan to open this, scrap off this rule from the high school. And that was the date that everyone wear their own clothes and dye our hairs. I dye in orange to go to school, but I still studied in the class. I wouldn't I dye my hair in orange and I wouldn't go to class, or I just stay around wandering around. So that's not the point, but I know there's a slow transition in the society. I understand because actually I talked to some professors and those people who really protect students on their rights, as in if they really need to have the right to wear without uniform and to come to school with their casual clothes. And as what you said, of course, this is a sign of supremacy in the society.
Right.
This is a way to control students. But another side of students say that actually this is a way to, identify themselves on the street as I'm a student, and if there's any danger happening on the street or anywhere, any corner in the society, people can identify me first with the uniform.
And that is one of the reasons why certain people think that school uniforms should be kept, because whenever happens to them, if they wear a school uniform, people can identify that, okay, that person is a student from this school, and when they help them, it would be a lot easier. But then there are two sides of the story, always, in terms of school uniforms. Those who support the idea of scrapping uniforms is that it will allow people to have freedom to choose whatever they want to wear, their kind of hairstyle they want to do. And another part is that not everyone has enough money to buy uniforms, especially those living in rural areas. Some people do not even have enough money to buy school uniforms. But on the other side of it, those who disagree with scrapping school uniforms is that uniforms are an equalizer, just like you said, to get rid of all the supremacy, who is better than who is richer than who based on clothing. School uniforms is like an equalizer, and that everyone will be treated equally as a student in school, and that it also creates discipline among students as well. If we wear school uniforms, it creates that sort of discipline in school, that sort of thing. And there's also a downside for allowing non-uniform days as well, because there will be some sort of competition between those who dress well and those who do not dress well. And there will be some sort of competition there, as in not just in terms of style, but in terms of wealth as well, because the way you dress can actually tell whether you come from a wealthy family or from a poor family, and you get teased for that too.
So actually in Taiwan, according to my cousin, right now in high school, of course, right now they have hybrid policy. So you can wear on top, you can wear the shirt of the uniform, school uniform, but you can wear your pants, you can wear your skirt. So actually there's a hybrid policy for them to choose. And as what you said about the supremacy, to show the wealth difference between students, I think this is not the cause about it, because of course teachers, authorities, they have the demand, and they need to teach students. They need to use the way of education to teach students that do not compare with others. Of course, people compare, but you shouldn't compare with others. You should respect from your heart to your peers.
Exactly. Back when you're in school, were there any like issues with school uniforms at all?
Yes, the first and second year in the high school, I still needed to wear the school uniform to come to school, and we couldn't because actually in high school we liked to modify all the pants to really like skinny pants.
That was awesome.
It was the trend. It was
Yeah.
the trend. But of course, this authority and teachers said that you couldn't do it. If you do this, you will get punishment. But at the third year of the high school, everything was open. We can do whatever we want in terms of the uniform, hairstyle, contacts, everything. You can do everything.
Wow, that's
you
really
want.
cool. You have a lot of freedom there.
Yeah.
But like back when
How
I
about
was
you?
back when I was in school for girls, we had freedom to choose. Like in terms of a uniform, like girls can wear either skirts or pants. And for our polo shirts, we had up to 3 colors. So we can choose which color we want to wear and whether we want to wear skirts or pants to school. However, the only rule is that whenever there's like an assembly, we all have to wear white. That is the only thing that they ask from the students. But once you got into your senior year, such like if you're in year 12 or 13, you can wear whatever you want. However, it must not distract other people. So we will get advice from teachers saying that you have to imagine yourself like you're dressing up just to go to an office. So something that is like you're covered and you still look like smart. Like the thing is like you're going to school. You're just going to like study here, and then teachers would be like you're keeping an eye on you if you're dressing too sexy or something. But like not in a sense like because there are some people who try to break the rules by wearing tight clothing or wearing very short skirts, and then teachers will keep an eye on you and then they will tell you off when they can. So,
I think you're right at this point as teacher, and those authorities they still have the way to educate students to. In Taiwan, of course, we said university or high school or those schools is the way for us to understand and to become an like mature adult in the society. So of course, as what you said, your teacher teach you to become adequately aware in the society. So that's the point.
Yeah, and also with hairstyles as well. We can dye our hair as long as it's like a natural tone, but then like if you dye your hair like red or pink or green, of course this is not allowed. But if it's like, like I remember when I was younger, I dyed my hair like kind of reddish, but not like super red.
Not bright red.
Not bright red, but it was like a bit of red, and then my teachers were like, "Did you dye your hair red? It's not allowed in school." So and then I had to tell them like, oh, it's not permanent, and I tried to wash it off, but it will go away soon. But then my teacher was like, and I still remember. But then like it was really difficult to like get it off, and so I had to dye it back to brown. So.
I think it's pretty difficult for Thai students right now because they demand for the freedom of uniform and freedom of hairstyle too. I think it takes some time for them to liberate from that restriction.
Yeah, because like with hairstyles, it doesn't affect our education to begin with, and it doesn't actually determine whether you're a smart student or like a bad student. It's just that fashion is one thing, but what you really need to focus on is how they actually perform at school, how they actually like their grades and their homework, do they have discipline on that? And this is what really needs to be focused. But if they seem to be breaking the rules with hairstyle or what they dress, you just give them a friendly reminder, and that is already enough to give them discipline. And if they still disobey, then give them harsher warnings.
Yeah, and there's another way to evaluate, of course, the participation in the courses too. So it's not just grades.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that wraps up tonight's edition of Thai PBS World Chat Room. Don't forget to join us every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Thai PBS World Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ